On the Fringe with Dan Radio Style. Hope everybody out there's having themselves a great day. This dude's going to get destroyed. Not only destroyed from the standpoint of he's going to blow out the Kamala Harris whole thing. They're going to either have to switch him out or, like we're hearing possible rumors, there may be a little tiff between Kamala and Biden. It's going to force a 25th Amendment choice or something, depending on how this is all playing out. This is a really fun time to be a part of this show, this movie, this game, this whatever it is. Because right now we're going through them kind of trying to come to terms with the fact that they're losing power. They can't give up power. They know if they give up power, they're done, gone, toast. We'll put a stop to them. This isn't like a political thing. This isn't like the Democrats lost, but we'll get you in 8 more years. No, this is evil is losing. And they are not coming back. They are being systematically destroyed. And some of these people, whether witting or unwitting, are their minions and are doing as they're told. This dude, Mr. Walz, is a ridiculous communist. We're going to get into it. We're going to talk about all the crazy stuff, his lying, this valor stealing that he's fond of doing. We've got Kamala just hiding from the press still. We've got Trump rocking and rolling. This is a great video and one I was looking forward to doing because I've actually got some really cool stuff to kind of set the pace. Folks, we literally are in a war, an information war, an actual war, kind of civil, but it's a civil information war at the moment. And it'll stay that way, frankly. And we'll get through this, frankly. But there's people that know it and are consciously involved. There's people that know it, aren't really necessarily doing anything. And there's people that just don't know. And they might happen to be on our side of the fence, politically, and be like, yeah, no, screw them. But don't really understand what's actually happening. And then there's, of course, those that don't know they're plugged in and have no idea that they're being propagandized to and that they're on the wrong side of humanity's fence. It's not an issue of political, which is where they see it. But it's an issue of mankind, freedom. It's funny, I've done manifesting videos. I have a YouTube channel, Dan Radio Style. If you guys are interested in manifesting, I've done almost 1,000 videos. So it's something I'm actually, 1, very fond of, 2, have utilized, and 3, believe in 100%. Like, whatever. You don't have to, don't care. But I've done a lot of videos that really talk about having to turn around your belief structure, turning around your approach towards life. A lot of us, I don't know where I was going to go with it. A lot of us really kind of, like this guy, a lot of us make choices because we feel like we have to. We make choices because we don't know better. There's a lot of us that, that's where I was going. A lot of us don't understand that there's 2 sides of this. There's those who believe that others are here to serve you. It's called service to self. And there's those that believe that we're here to serve each other. And what I do for another, I do for myself. The same goes, actually, the opposite. What I do for myself, I do for another. But the problem is there's many that believe others are here solely to do for us. And it's a different approach towards life, and definitely one that tends to lead to a lot more of the darker side with unquestionable. So there's a challenge for many of us. All said, I know I'm getting into the weeds a little bit. It's kind of partially why I do this show. This is an important part to me. I get you. I got to stop doing it. All right, just to start off, because we shared Politico's view yesterday, and I think there's a lot of people right now that believe what they're being told, that believe this hype, that believe that Kamala's, hey, everyone's so excited. Oh my God, they're dancing in the streets because of Kamala. They're like, ooh, ta, cha, cha, right? If you could only see the rest of my body and realize, no, you really can't dance, Dave. Don't ever do that again on camera. Kamala Harris's approval rating falls as talk of replacing Biden grows. This was back on July 9th of this year. Just a short 21 days later, Kamala Harris's popularity reaches record high. This is all propaganda. It's all fake. Newsweek, Politico, there's a bunch of them. All fake news, constantly. Now, I forgot what movie this is. It's an amazing movie. It's a very, very cool movie, and someone's going to email it to me. And I remember seeing it. I just can't remember. And I could look it up. I could have done an IMDb on Mel Gibson because he was in it. It was an awesome movie. But this was a powerful scene, and it also talks about where we're at right now as a society. Again, some of us know we're doing this. Some of us don't know we're doing this. It's a different time. And I think what he's talking about is right. We are literally going to war. We are at war. And there's some that know we are, some that don't know we are. For those of us that know we are, thank you for being a part of this. But a very, very powerful scene, and definitely where we are at in the big picture. You guys, especially, my ripple makers, for sure. My soldiers, my army of enlightened ones. Appreciate all of you guys. Battle that they fought. So again, not a direct comparison per se, but kind of. This is a tough time for many. Greg Gutfeld, friggin' on fire. This is a very bitchin' time. There's some cuss words. That's why I almost wanted to open with this, but I didn't want to put cuss words this close to the start of the video. Some places don't like that so much. So you go a few minutes, it's okay. All said, powerful, awesome. And I love the way the media is playing right now. Bad media, propaganda media, falling apart. Good media, at least the good people on propaganda media, definitely shining. And it's pretty cool. Check it out.
Greg, did everybody who needed tampons have tampons at the time?
I'm glad you brought that up because I would like to pull back and talk about something that would help the Democrat Party if they only listened. I'm going to pretend that I'm not talking to Jessica, but I'm talking to the whole Democratic Party. So liberals, in their very best sense, are the party of empathy and compassion. The problem is they extend that benefit to people who prey upon innocent citizens. That is their problem. They don't know the boundaries to their compassion or their empathy, and that's why they need conservatives to say, hey, knock it off, pull back. But why do liberals have to accept certain positions that are that bad? Like, why do they have to make excuses for rioters and looters? That is not necessarily a liberal position. They don't have to do it. So if you think of other liberal positions, arguing for surgical transitions for children, banning school choice, funding foreign wars, bailing out phalanx. What if these aren't liberal positions? They're just awful ones. Then you could reject them. You don't have to sit here and defend tampons for boys. You could just say, you know what, there's nothing liberal about that, right? You know, only nut jobs want kids to have nut jobs. It's not about being liberal or conservative. But the problem is the Democrats have allowed radicals to define what is liberal. So tampons for boys, suddenly, Jessica, you have to defend it. You shouldn't have to. You know, liberals were always against conversion therapy. That was a psychological attempt at curing homosexuality. Now they're defending invasive surgical solutions to do the same thing. How did that become liberal and the other one not? So it's a plea that, like, you don't have to defend this crap. You don't have to defend tampons for boys. You should laugh at it and go, this is bullshit. I don't believe any of it. And then all of a sudden you find that the Democrats and the Republicans are in the same room again. You know, we reject our crazies. It's time for you guys to reject them.
Okay.
Give me a crazy person, I'll reject him.
Donald Trump.
See, that's your problem. He's not crazy. That's your problem.
That is exactly the problem.
You think that
every metric was up when he was president. And
That's
you know
not
what?
true.
Oh, okay.
there's nothing that he believes in that comes close to tampons for boys or for pushing trans surgeries on children because they're suffering from a psychological delusion. There's nothing like that in the conservative movement. But you Democrats have embraced these things because they're so scared of being called lack of compassionate.
I'm going to get fired if we don't go to commercial. So.
And that is, it's just this weird thing. I don't know if it's like, and I think a lot of us ask the same question because it's baffling, frankly. Let's be honest. Let's get it out on the table, get some comments going on it. Also hit that thumbs up if you guys could. Please subscribe, all that fun stuff. But seriously, throw this in the comments. But what side of this are we actually on? Why is it that Democrats, no matter what, at least the ones, and I know they're propagandized, right? So I know they're told a bunch of crazy stuff. But when you literally put like actual facts in front of them, like you are literally okay with removing children's testicles or whatever at an earlier age, or doing puberty blockers that are going to forever change them, and you're okay with that, they'd be like, well, I mean, no, but I think people should have the choice, right? Like they'll say something crazy, but they have it all stuck in their head that Trump bad, Trump bad, Trump bad, Trump bad. They don't necessarily have a lot of facts to back it up, but they know they're supposed to hate him. Trump's crazy, crazy man, orange man bad, hate, hate, hate. And so, of course, that's the first thing she says is the talking point that everybody on the left says, but it's like, how, like Judge What's-Her-Face, Shapiro, or whatever her name is, she says, like, hey, like, every metric was up. yet they still can't acknowledge that he's a good guy. Can't. Impossible. It's just weird. Like, you can look at, like, the wars. They've been against wars in the past. Here we are. We have wars, and they're like, no, we've got to fund the Ukraine war. That one's fine. That's okay. We'll fund that all day long. But this thing over here with Israel, the Palestinians, man, you got to think the Palestinians. We got to stop that war. What about Ukrainians or Russians or all the people that are dying in the war that you're okay with? Just because your side says it's okay? Again, this is so weird. But it is what it is. Here's Stephen Miller going on the ABC of all crazy, or NBC, sorry, of all crazy ass stupid shows. But again, these guys are going into the lion's den and they're doing the Lord's work. So God bless you.
The weaponization of government is the beginning of the end of American democracy. And every one of your viewers and listeners should understand, when you have a country where you can throw people in jail for violations of misinformation, for engaging in free speech, for engaging in good legal advice, for challenging illegitimate election results, you're not a free country anymore. Right. And I'll tell you the violence I'm outraged about. Right now, there are moms whose daughters are dead and murdered because Kamala Harris let in their killers. And when you have on your program the mother of Jocelyn Nungry, or the mother of Laken Riley, or the mother of any of the other victims, the mother of the girl who was raped in Central Park, any of those families, then you'll be in a position to talk about violence and suffering and death.
I told you I'd give you time. We're not doing a comparison of me to you on everything.
But again, they obviously don't like these, to have to answer these tough questions, the media, because it doesn't speak well to what their propaganda narrative is. Now, again, do these guys know exactly what their narrative is, or do they just believe the brainwashing they've been told? Well, this expert so-and-so said such and such. Well, such and such must be true then. Even though that's the opposite of what you've experienced in your life every single day, right? It's strange, again, where we're at. CNN effectively worthless after parent Warner Brothers takes $9.1 billion write-down against them. They are in bad shape. They're continuing to bleed money. CNN's value is now literally negative. It's going down. Even when if they try to sell it, it would be significantly cheaper than ever before. CNN is dying. ABC is dying. MSNBC is dying. It's all happening. These guys, they might get the one big day if they get Trump on there, right? It's also partially why ABC wants it so badly, because they're dying. That's their biggest ratings ever, is when they have Trump on. Here's another great stellar example to everybody about what it means to step outside of the frickin' lane you're in. Who gives a shit what lane you're in? What do you think about it? It's one of my favorite things when people try to make an argument to me. They're like, yeah, but so-and-so said, so there you go, Dan. And I'm like, yes, but what do you think? I don't know. What? Well, so-and-so said. Yeah? What do you think? Dude, get out of our lanes, man. All of us, some of us are in good lanes. You know what, though? The lane you're in, there's a lot of people in front of you. Seriously, there's another lane right next to you that's going to the same place that doesn't have as many people in it. And you might learn something different along the way. You might find some different people to talk to. You might actually laugh at the ones you just walk past. And I'm not even really being metaphorical. It's get out of the lane that you're in right now. Whoever you are. Whatever lane you're in, get out of it. Try a slightly different version of that lane. May not make a lot of sense. Hopefully it will, because all of us need to try something a little different. We're going into the big time of the game, and we got to play our best. We got to push our hardest, and we've definitely got to win. I think we're gonna, but that's nothing's set until we get there. The future is not set.
Boy, Trump wasn't playing with Kamala Harris in Chicago, man. Kamala went from eating baked chicken to eating fried chicken, man. Y'all finna learn to stop playing with Trump. He ain't nothing to play with. Man took a shot to the ear, almost to the head, and still out here doing this thing. Tupac would be clapping his hands right now. He probably is from up there in heaven. Kamala Harris, we don't like you. You know what you did. You done put so many black men in jail. You think we forgot about that? You think just because you think you is black, you can just get the black vote. We ain't no dummies. I've been trying to tell folks, just because you black don't mean you gotta vote Democrat. She thinks she gonna win us over by eating watermelon and fried chicken and drinking grape Kool-Aid. That's not it. I don't even like grape Kool-Aid. I like strawberry Kool-Aid. And I don't even eat fried chicken all the time. I don't even like watermelon. So why is you on here doing this? You trying to make a mockery of black folks. Man, look. I'm going with Trump. Y'all should too. That's all I'm gonna say. Roll Tide.
I just got to ask, too, by the way. I've always heard it referred to, and not necessarily by white people, by the way, but like black comedians and stuff. I think Kevin Hart's the one that pops into my head right now. But it's purple. It's grape drink, right? Like drink. Like so you went over to someone's house, or whoever's telling the joke, went over to someone's house, and they were like, you want some grape juice? And he's like, no, want some grape drink. It was Chappelle. No, I want some grape drink. So what's Kool-Aid? Is that grape drink? Or is that like rich black person's purple drink? I'm kind of wondering. I'm not trying to be a dick. I'm curious. And I think it's somewhat funny, by the way. But maybe not everybody agrees. We'll see. Here's Kamala Harris hanging out at the airport, where J.D. Vance tried to hook up with her. Well, I mean, allegedly. I'm having fun with words today. Sorry, check it out.
I know you're covering the vice president here. I figured I'd come by and wanted to see a good look at the plane. Hopefully it's going to be my plane in a few months, but I also thought you guys might get lonely because the vice president doesn't answer questions from reporters and hasn't for 17 days. Have they given you guys an explanation for why she won't take questions from reporters? No? Nobody? Okay, great. Well, I hope that she changes your mind because it'd be good for the American people, and I think it'd be good for you all if she actually ran a real campaign instead of one from a basement with a teleprompter. So have a good one, guys. See ya.
Do you think all of them have to be like pedophiles, right? Like she's hanging out with a bunch of children too, which freaks me out. Or maybe that was supposed to be like, Biden's lunchbox for the day. I'm not sure how these things work. But you gotta wonder, what if you're like one of the people that were like running or whatever, and they approach you when you're, early on in your career, and they're like, hey, would you like to go and hang out and go to this awesome island? It's a cool party. And you're like, yeah, it sounds like fun. Yeah, a bunch of us get on this dude's jet. And you're like, all right, cool. You don't know any better. You don't know to not get on the Lolita Express, right? You end up on it because, sure, going to an island, you get jet skis. Dude, I'm going to love it. This is going to be so much fun. Woo, right? You'd be stoked. And then you get there. And they're like, hey, you like men or women? And you're like, I like women. Thanks. Appreciate. And they're like, you like women or younger women? And you're like, I don't know. I don't like them old. Right? Like, and then all of a sudden this chick shows up and you're like, wow, she looks like she's 15. Ew, no, do you got anyone that's like actually 21 plus maybe? Like, right? Like how does that work if you don't fit into their little mold properly? They don't like that. I'll tell you that much. I'm going to give you the answer. I don't want to waste too much time. Here's Kamala Harris. Let's check on, I love how they're calling her Kamala. I've got to continue to enjoy that. But this election's about the questions just another one of her word salads.
So Wisconsin, ultimately this election is about a question that we each face. We each face a question in this election.
Well, that's good to know. Now, she's out in Wisconsin. Let's be honest. Where's the best place, or what's one of the best things to have in a salad? Cheese. So, word salad, Wisconsin. Well, it kind of makes sense now to me, personally. I don't know about you guys still. It might be a mystery. Who knows? Here's a pro-Palestinian protester was escorted out of Vice President Kamala's thing. No idea what they're saying, but I almost feel like the news right now where I'm like, no, it's actually here. It was really crazy. Oh, that's a big spider. What are you doing there, buddy? How you doing? And this one guy that's been running around for a little while, he seems like he's growing, or she, I don't know. Charlotte's Web. I'm waiting for her to start stenciling out words and stuff, and we'll see if it ever happens. I'll tell you guys about it, take pictures. Who knows? Right now, it's just a spider in the corner of the room. Always fun to have that looking down on me with all those eyes, huh? It's like so So many eyes looking at you at one time. We've got Kamala Harris responding to the heckler that's out in the audience. Hey, I'm here because we believe in democracy. Just keep that in mind, democracy. It's always about democracy, whatever that is to them.
Project 2025, if he is elected, it's all good. It's all good. I'm here because we believe in democracy. Everyone's voice matters, but I am speaking now.
Yes, everybody's got a voice except you right now because you've been escorted out. Thank you very much. Goodbye. Now, again, I believe in freedom of speech, but if you're actually at an event and you're disturbing it for other people, I actually find that you're kind of outside of your freedom of speech rights. You're actually ruining something for other people because you disagree with it. That's a disturbance. That's disturbing something. That's disturbing the peace, or call it what you want. And when people have paid money for an event and then you came in as an individual that dislikes it and F's it up for all these other people, yeah, no, you're the problem in my opinion too, okay? But again, that's kind of a funny thing. That's where we're kind of at in the big picture right now, right? Things aren't black and white. I wish people would stop trying to make everything so binary. Like, well, people in Italy, they seem to have a hard time with this Italian newspaper. They published images of Kamala Harris wearing feathered headdress with an inflammatory headline, apparently. I don't speak Italian, but Cascia all'uomo bianco. It's Cascia all'uomo bianco. If you say it with your hands, I swear to God, it's easier to speak Italian. I don't know what it is. There's something weird about that language. You got to get the hands involved. You know what I'm saying? Anywho, Il Tempo is the name, I guess, of this center-right outlet. They used the presidential candidate's inflammatory image along with the title, Hunt for the White Man, referencing Harris's search for a running mate, because, she nailed an older white dude. Kind of fun, right? She used to be with an older white dude, vice president. Now she's going to be the president person with an older white dude, vice president, biatch, because she wants to, make up for what she's gone through. So social media users have been slamming the image as racist and pointing out that Harris has no Native American descendants. Her father is Jamaican. Her mother is from India. India. So it's funny here in America, too, for those that aren't there, right? But India, you got Indians. We called everybody Indians, but really that's people from India, not woo Indians, right? Like we have that two words that it's really Native Americans. Kind of makes more sense. Supposedly, Columbus is like, oh, we've made it to India. Look at all these people. They're Indians. And really, they weren't. Or sort of misnamed. But whatever. It's cool. Who cares? The paper's editor-in-chief, Tommaso Cerno, however, has defended the cover, saying he chose the headdress because Redskins are the symbol par excellence of all American minorities. So the headdress represents you're the Cherokee, you're the chief, you're the head honcho, you're the Aztecs, you're the whatevers, right? Like you're the best of the best of the best. So they're like, dude, we're just, using the symbol that makes sense. And that's the thing. I love using pictures like that, and I choose poor pictures of them, and people could say, well, you're racist for that. And I'm like, all right, I don't give a crap. Because you got to sell that thing. That's what you're trying to do. People are image-oriented. It's fantastic. DC Drano posted this. Tim Walz is now getting called out by the Army Special Forces for wearing their crest on a camo hat when he was never in SF and even abandoned the Army before his Iraqi deployment. I think the SF is the Special Forces, so he's wearing a Special Forces hat. Dude's running around pretending to be stuff he's not, getting called out by all sorts of people. In fact, there's a video. I'm not going to play it because it's stupid long. It's great, though. Video from 2009 showing a veteran confronting Tim Walz's staff over the claims that he served in Afghanistan. He was, in Operation Freedom or whatever it is, and they were claiming that meant he was in Afghanistan because he supported it, but no. And I think most soldiers that went there don't agree with that, and I don't think it's technically true either way, but whatever. It's this dude calling him out. Now, that's considered when you claim to be something you're not in the military. Military is a funny thing. And I wasn't in the military. I had family for sure. I know a bunch of people. And call me out and chat, guys, or not necessarily directly to me, but dude, and wherever you're at and whatever platform you're on, dude, comment, tell me I'm a full of crap, or agree with me maybe. To say, hey, I'm a vet. This is what he's saying is true. But military is like a code of honor. Like there is, you don't lie, you don't cheat, you don't steal. You have your best at always, and you're always honest about it. And you're yes, sir, absolutely, sir, yes, sir. That's it. You have a code of conduct. You follow it. There's no questioning that. And stealing, lying, and all this other kind of nonsense is way outside of their code of valor. So when you do that, when you step outside of the code, you are like beyond shit. You are the biggest pile of poo that exists. That's what you are. And so this dude running around and stealing valor, which is what they call it, stolen valor. And there was an act that was declared back in 2006 that this is, I don't know if it's legal, but I think it can get you busted with your retirement or something. I don't know. It's not good. It's super bad. I don't know enough about that. But he's being called this by all people in the military. Now I want to play it because it's kind of worth it. But here's, I don't freaking know what stupid agents of NBC. There it is in the background. There's NBC saying the same stupid stuff, but they're realizing they're getting called out for the stolen valor comment. They can't say it totally, but they kind of say it.
The sense that the Harris campaign is ready for these attacks, but I have to tell you, Kristen, they're not engaging directly on whether or not he was falsifying his record, his military record. They are, of course, as you said, pointing out that he does have a history of service, both in the National Guard, but also as a teacher, as someone who was a governor, as someone who was a congressional member. So they're sort of leaning in on the fact that he's someone who wants to serve America. And yesterday when he was in Philadelphia, he was also making that point, saying that they want this to be a people-powered campaign and a people-centered administration if they are elected to the White House. But it's very interesting to see them say, yes, he does have a sort of a long history in the military and joined at 17, has trained people who did go into combat zones, is what one source told me, but also is not engaging directly on whether or not he falsified here.
So we're actually going to talk about his real record here right now. Because they can say what they say. We know that we can't trust propaganda people. And it's, again, it goes back to my original point. Like, these people that we're trying to help, I feel like we're trying to pull them out of a burning building and they're smacking us, or they're a drowning victim and you're trying to help them, but they're trying to push you under the water, right? Feels like that sometimes. But I love all. But here we are. Here is the propaganda being fed. Here's the facts, because they obviously don't know this. So Tim Walz, he honeymooned in China after intentionally marrying on the anniversary of the Tiananmen Square massacre, because he wanted a date he'd always remember. Literally a quote from him. Tiananmen Square massacre. He wanted a date he'd always remember. Now, I'm sure he would say, because it was such a horrific day. Well, we know he's got some ties to China. We'll get there in a sec. But if Tiananmen Tim celebrates the slaughter of innocents fighting for freedom in China, imagine his plan for us. But literally, would you tie your nuptials to that? Now, we already know, we found out yesterday, that his wife is like, she has her own administration within his administration. She is like a very powerful person within his group. So they're already, Batman and Catwoman, or whatever's the right analogy. I'm definitely not going to go with Batwoman. Fuck no. Tim Walz honeymoon in China, though, on that time. He got married that day. That's weird. From Biden-Harris to Harris-Walz, different players, same game. So CPP, CC, not 100% sure who all that is. CPP, it's communist China stuff. I don't know. Communist, I'm sure. You got the People's Liberation Army over here. You've got the CPP, CC. Sounds like something you get if you go to like Taiwan or something, and you shouldn't have. You can get shots, whatever the hell. Anyway, Li Xiaolin is apparently buddy-buddy with our boy. Now, she's tied in. Her spouse is the PLA's former CCP Central Committee member, a PLA senior general and political commissioner. So he's directly tied to him, just like the Bidens were tied to Patrick Ho and Yi Jianming, who both run up to the PLA as well, and to the CPP-CC. These people are just as tied to just as tied to China as the Bidens were tied to China. No difference. Probably why the deep state brought him onto her ticket. She didn't choose this. For anybody out there that has this weird thought in their stupid propagandized brain that somehow Kamala Harris chose Tim Walz, you're out of your freaking mind. He's an old white dude. You think Kamala chose that with all the shit she said? Seriously, think about it for 4 seconds. This is the problem we have today. People believe the stupid shit they're told. They don't sit back and think. People tell me, hey, so-and-so said something, and they tell me like it's fact. And I'm like, what do you think? I say it. I'm going to keep saying it. I'm always going to say it. What do you think? I want to know what you think. I don't care what so-and-so said. If it sparked something, cool. Reiterate it back to me in a different sort of way. Show me that you understand it on top of the fact that it's like an interesting idea. Who is Tim Walz? He fueled BLM riots in 2020. Riots looted and wrecked Minneapolis. Changed Minnesota's state flag to resemble Somalia's. Killed old people with COVID in nursing home scandal. Oh, he was one of those people. The 5 governors, right? Wasn't there 5 of them or 7? I think it was 5. Minnesota, a friendly LGBTQIA&J. They're a sanctuary state as well. They push youth trans surgery, hormone therapy agenda. Soldiers accused Walz of embellishing and selectively omitting facts about his military career. Fellow soldiers accused him of quitting on them. Got DUI in 1995, going 96 miles an hour in a 55-mile-an-hour zone. Look, I wasn't planning on being out for an entire hour. I think that's a Stephen Wright joke. Pretty funny. Yeah, but 96 and 55 is really, really fast. We sometimes do 96 on freeways. Not uncommon. I've seen it happen before. Not me. Praises socialism, and then, of course, this in Tim Walz's Marxist for vice president. So that's literally what we're dealing with right now. Paul Sperry put this out. Dems increasingly worried Tim's stolen valor Walz will be swift-boated before he ever makes it to Chicago. They don't think this is going to work. We, of course, got this funny-ass meme. If you can look at the screen right now, it's very, very funny. It's the dude stealing the podium from January 6th, but they got him holding the Valor sign, and it's Tim Walz morphed in. Very funny. Ashley Hayek has posted this, and the CNN fact-checked correspondent is peddling disinformation, gaslighting you, and straight-up lying about Walz's service. Here are the 12 facts about Walz's service that nobody can disagree with. 1. Tim Walz re-enlisted for 6 years in the National Guard on September 18th, 2001. That means he obligated himself to serve until September 18th, 2007. 2. In 2003, then First Sergeant Walz, E8, signed a statement of agreement and certification to attend the United States Army Sergeants Major Academy, where he agreed to serve for a minimum of 2 years after promotion to Command Sergeant Major. Third, on September 17th, 2004, then First Sergeant Walz was frocked to Command Master Sergeant E9 of the 1st Battalion, 125th Field Artillery Regiment. By doing so, he was obligated to serve as Command Sergeant Major until September 17th, 2006, and until he maintained... I hate when they do this. Oh, really? You're going to do that to me? Until he maintained... I lost it. Oh, no. There it is. Until he maintained his enlistment contract, which obligated his service through September 18th. That didn't go well at all. He falsely filed paperwork with the Minnesota National Guard to retire as an E9, a command sergeant major, knowing full well he did not meet the obligation to retire as an E9. On September 10th, 2005, the Minnesota National Guard discovered that he didn't fulfill his commitment and busted down his retirement rank from E9 to an E8. His official retirement grade and rank is E8, a Master Sergeant. Walz cannot claim the title of Commander Master Sergeant. He was only frocked as an E9 and never completed the requirements to be officially promoted to rank of E9. Walz is lying and cannot claim the title of Command Master Sergeant as he never met the criteria. Walz referred to himself as a retired Command Sergeant Major in his run for Congress and governor. This is a lie and stolen valor. Walz has never been to war in a combat zone, as he claims his only deployment was to Italy for 6 months. Walz claimed he couldn't run for Congress while serving in the National Guard while deployed, but that's also a lie. He simply had to file paperwork with the Department of Defense, and he could have run for political office, as so many others, reservists and National Guards, have done. So he's lied quite a bunch all over the place. Here's Alina Habba getting into the argument, and we kind of had to hear from her. She's awesome.
Welcome to the show, Trump 2024 Senior Advisor, Alina Habba. It's good to see you again, Alina. You know, this is the ruthless, grotesque vanity of the hard left. Doesn't this just deepen the feeling that Tim Walz is about what lawmakers in his own state effectively say, that he's basically bullying his own voters?
Yeah. He's a real problem. When his own state he's let burn to the ground, as you just mentioned, when he pretends to be for auto workers, but they want electric vehicles because they say there's such a serious climate issue. These people are as radical left as we're going to get. And President Trump's sentiments are truly accurate. She could not have picked a more socialist-based type of VP candidate. And it should be easier for us to attack now. Frankly, his record is easy for us to attack. But just look at his own state. The record speaks for itself. You let that happen. That was what happened after George Floyd, and your wife was promoting it. These are the people that they want to run the country. They can't even run their state. So I speak for records. President Trump's record speaks for itself. His speaks for itself. And the fact that Ms. Harris hasn't done an interview in 12 days or over 2 weeks speaks for itself loudly, too.
You know, Alina, so let's go through it. His drastic COVID lockdowns ruined small businesses and schools. He pushed neighbors to snitch on each other if they violated Walz's stay-at-home orders. It penalized anybody violating his indoor mask mandates. One of the biggest COVID pandemic frauds in America happened on Tim Walz's watch. $250 million stolen by fraudsters when that money was supposed to go for meals. Then the 2020 riots in his state destroyed 1,500 businesses, neighborhoods, cost $500,000 in damage. Isn't it odd Tim Walz at the time called the National Guard just, quote, 19-year-old cooks when he delayed deploying them to stop those riots, and he'd been a member of the Guard?
Yeah, a member of the Guard until they asked him to go serve, and then he said he didn't want to and bailed out. That is weakness like I've never seen before. If you can't serve your country only on paper until it's time to really serve, that says it all to me. And yes, you're right. The one thing we forgot was what he wants to do to our children, what he wants to do with the boys' bathrooms, putting tampons in boys' bathrooms, saying that if a parent has a problem with their child transgendering, then the state can overtake the parents' rights. This is the person we're speaking about. Someone who runs from war himself, pretends to sign up probably for benefits, wants to screw up our children, and doesn't care about his own state burning down. That's what we want in America while the world is falling apart. We need strong leadership, and this is not it.
So what happens, final word, with the debates?
Listen, President Trump has made it clear. He is willing to. He put out a date. She's playing games. You know, it's very interesting, and I think the only question we should be asking is one question. Why do you, the DNC, why do you candidates for the DNC, be it Biden, Harris, or now Walz, need to have control over the debates? Because a true debate, an American debate, means you can stand on your own 2 feet, not get the questions in advance, and be able to speak. God knows I can do it. President Trump has shown the world he can do it. For crying out loud, their candidate's gone because he did such a good job. But why is it that they have an issue and they want ABC, not Fox? I want to know that question. I want to know what the issue is. What's the shoe-in with ABC? Because there should be no problem going on Fox on September 4th. I just don't get it.
Alina Habba, thanks for joining us today. It's good to have you on.
Now, again, Alina Habba totally knows exactly what the deal is. Again, we say a lot of things sometimes that are short of the big picture because we realize we're talking to a broader audience. But there's a lot of reasons why they don't want to go on Fox. And again, they have Brett Burr and they got Martha McCollum, two people that we friggin' hate. Don't hate. We dislike, loathe, because of their antics during the election in 2020. They will never be forgiven until they finally ask for forgiveness. Let's say it that way. Until that day comes, Brett Burr. Hell no, dude. You're just a big, giant, macho piece of trash. And McCollum, whatever. So Alina is talking about how people can think on their feet, too. Trump would have destroyed Kamala. So having the questions in advance so you can prepare an answer, even though Trump would still rattle off the rails and destroy her on it and force her into an honest answer. She's going to have a hard time no matter how it plays out. Trump will destroy her either way, but she's right, and she's calling it out. And again, there's just games. I mean, it's all crap in the big picture, really. Seems like it. Here's the reporter asking Biden, and he kind of says the actual truth. It's a trip. He misspeaks, quote unquote, but.
Are you confident that there will be a peaceful transfer of power in January 2025?
If Trump wins, no, I'm not confident at all. I mean, if Trump loses, I'm not confident at all. He means what he says. We don't take him seriously. He means it. All the stuff about if we lose, there'll be a bloodbath. It's have to be a stolen election. Look what they're trying to do now in the local election districts where people count the votes. They're putting people in place in states that they're going to count the votes, right? You can't love your country only when you win.
You can't love your country. Well, you can totally love your country, but when the country's been taken over, it's really hard to be able to love your country, right? Seems to be. Biden family influence peddling schemes in Romania were documented in GOP Oversight's Bank Records Memorandum in May of 2023. Bank records don't lie. The mainstream media took their marching orders from the Biden White House and turned a blind eye to public corruption. Prosecutors contend Hunter Biden was hired by Romanian oligarch Gabriel Pobovicio, quote, to attempt to influence U.S. government agencies, but the deal was structured to avoid FARA because Hunter was concerned about political ramifications for Joe Biden. This has come out in his little trials, too, apparently. This has been also brought there. So, again, how else do you get evidence into the public record? Here's another example. Dan Scavino Jr. posted this. Hearing Biden once back in the race after finally taking some time to realize what his friends did to him, leading up to the dropout letter posted via X on Sunday afternoon. There is a real weird push. Got Marjorie Taylor Greene saying Joe Biden should come back in the race. There's this weird push. Now, it would cause all sorts of divisiveness within their own side, which would be freaking awesome. Or it would force the 25th Amendment, which I think is supposed to happen, too, way before the election, because that's going to be so difficult. It's going to make it look even worse. It's going to kind of make it look like a coup, which it will be, and I'm pretty sure we'll sell it as such to the most part. But people are figuring out what's happening. Supposedly, we got some body cam footage from local police who interrupted Thomas Matthew Crooks moments before he opened fire on President Trump at a crowd in Pennsylvania. Political rally goers last month. Is on the verge of being released. So we'll see. This is what Fox News Digital has been told. We'll find out if that actually happens. All right. Let's talk about some Trumpage. Why did I put nothing there? That was a mistake, probably. Nonetheless, here's Fetterman kind of admitting that Pennsylvania might be lost at this point. We'll see.
I think if you match up Trump and Harris, which I think that's really what this is really about, and I do believe he's going to win Pennsylvania. And of course, it's going to be close, but I've been maintaining that whether it's Biden, whether it was Clinton, or whether now it's with Vice President Harris, it's going to be very close.
So that's probably why he in general has been drifting kind of sort of towards the center, is because he realizes he's going to lose and he'd like to continue helping or whatever. And again, I don't know how many people are on their side of the fence that are conscious of the fact that there's like, yeah, no, I don't totally believe all the shit they say, but I'm here, right? But they're trying to help their people back up from the mess. Who knows? Donald Trump truthed this out. Kamala refuses to do interviews because her team realizes she is unable to answer questions, much like Biden was not able to answer questions, but for a different reason. He is just plain shot, and she is just plain incompetent. Her policies of open borders, no fracking or drilling for oil in any way, shape, or form, transgender anything, anti-Israel, but gross incompetence towards getting anything done for the Palestinians, no clue on inflation or the economy, unlimited money for fight foreign wars, and so much more are catastrophic. If she is elected, our county and indeed the world will suffer in a 1929-style Great Depression. It will be the worst in history, and America will be restored. He said county. Probably meant country. Everyone's going to look up the missing R. I'm sure there's some posts on that. I guess we could do it. Let's try it. Let's see if we can find some R. I think you have to do quotes like that, or is it single quotes? I forget. Single quotes. All right, let's try those. R. Really? Just do R. Dude, R is going to get me everything. Nothing's coming up with missing R, right? Yeah, doesn't look like it. So, who knows? Maybe it's down right now. Donald Trump truth this as well. I will expose Kamala during the debate the same way I exposed Crooked Joe, Hillary, and everyone else during the debates. Only I think Kamala will be easier. Dude, he's just toying with her. Going down, Chica Suave. We've got an SEC motion for remedies, and the entry of final judgment is granted in part and denied in part, whatever. But the court shall enter a final judgment enjoining Ripple. That's a digital currency. One that I actually own a little of, by the way. I haven't logged back in since they changed all the laws for taxable income, by the way. I've literally have not logged into the system since, so I've never accepted their new agreement, ever. So I don't know what they do. I just like being a thorn in their side, frankly, because the last agreement I accepted was a long time ago. We'll see. I'll probably just lose the money, but whatever the case is, it wasn't that much. All said, they have to pay $125 million as fees or fines or whatever. This is going to come out of the price of Ripple, by the way. So anybody that's actually invested in Ripple, it's not helping. That's for damn sure. Now, President Putin signed a law legalizing cryptocurrency mining in Russia. Here's the thing. Mining, I've said it before, and I don't understand it real well, but it has to do with finding the blockchains that are legitimate blockchains that actually represent a Bitcoin. There's some weird set of rules that somehow governs whether or not, I don't know how they know exactly that that's a perfect address or whatever the hell for it, or blockchain for it. Whatever the case is, that's what these minings are doing. They're just crunching numbers and trying to find these things that'll actually work. When they finally find one, for the most part, that's your Bitcoin. You mine it, you found it, it's now legitimate, it works to their algorithm, I don't know, whatever the case is, you found an actual Bitcoin. And Bitcoins, again, are not a real thing, but you found an address that legitimately works. And since it works, you now just created a Bitcoin. It changes the value in the big picture. Whatever the case is, you now own one without having to pay for, well, you paid electricity and power on your computer and all that, but you didn't have to pay any sort of currency for it. You just found one of the missing Bitcoin. There's only so many of them. And eventually they'll find them. But President Putin is now going to be farming for them. So that's going to be interesting. I put that on maybe. DRSlikesgold.com. DRSlikesgold.com. Things are getting kind of weird. Things are going in strange directions. I talked a lot about this week. We've had a lot of interesting things with the stock market. Again, inflation's huge right now. Stocks are definitely not stable. Deep state's definitely faltering and needs to get out of their system. If you've got a 401k or an IRA, get out of their system, tax-free, penalty-free, into a precious metals IRA. You can get your kit. It's 4 data points. Just get your 4 data points. And if you do it right and act like you're going to click off the screen, this Ronald Reagan coin thing will pop up. Put in your data points there because it's the same both top and bottom. But this, if you actually qualify for, if you actually have an IRA or 401k, really, then you're going to get a free half-ounce silver coin. And they're going to send all the stuff to you with that. And that's just like a thank you for giving us a chance to show you what we can do to help you. Your money right now is definitely not, value of your money right now is definitely going down. The value of gold's actually going up. Not just the price, but the value. It's actually gaining value, and it's one of the few things that has. Bitcoin's still positive. I don't know what it is right now after taking the hit it took. I think it dropped almost 10 grand, maybe regained some of that, but it took a pretty solid hit during that Monday little snafu. Gold actually sitting exactly where it was, actually went up a teeny tiny bit. It's just below 24 when I looked yesterday. So go to drslikesgold.com. drslikesgold.com. You get out of their system, tax-free, penalty-free, into a system that's actually moving positive, not negative value. Dollars have been staying about the same, but you're going down in value. Inflation is taking a bite out of every dollar you think you have. And if you're sitting on cash right now, you probably want to hit up my good friends at Goldco too. Easy way to get precious metals. Hit them up. Say, hey, I got $5,000, or I got 1,000, or I got whatever. I don't know. I don't think they have a minimum. Whatever the case is, hit them up and say, I got some cash. I want to buy some gold. I want to have something that I can at least carry to the other side. I mean, there's a point where it's like, it almost doesn't make sense. So a few thousand is probably a good idea, right? Because at least that's like, you'll carry some value and it'll be a few thousand plus 45%, it'll help a lot. Go to drslikesgold.com, drslikesgold.com. Get out of their system any way you can. Save anything you've got right now from their system into this other transitory system, because precious metals will transition. You can liquidate them. Will transition right back into another currency or whatever, or even Bitcoin, probably at some point. drslikesgold.com, drslikesgold.com. Get out of their system before they get out of you. And they are definitely trying to make you broke. They want your money. They don't want you having any sort of financial freedom. That's what wealth is. And that's what you've been working towards. Get out of their system. All right, election stuff. We got a few. Now, these are kind of mixed. There's good and bad mixed in here, but there's some pretty good ones. Virginia Governor Glenn Youngkin has issued Executive Order 35 on Wednesday, aiming to bolster election security with a focus on eliminating non-citizens from voter rolls. The executive order introduces a range of measures to enhance election integrity, including stricter ballot security procedures, improved voter machine testing, and more rigorous maintenance of voter lists to identify and remove non-citizens. Very powerful. Now, on the not so powerful side, or not good side, Democrat Michigan Secretary of State says neighbors should snitch on each other to combat election misinformation. Literally. They don't want you talking about the elections with your neighbors and say anything that might seem inappropriate because it's screwing up what we're trying to do. Literally, she's trying to get people to narc on their neighbors. Now, I don't understand. That can't be a crime. It's not legal, but whatever. Michigan Secretary of State Jocelyn Benson has requested that voters in the state help fight election misinformation by reporting on each other. We've got, and I can't play it because it's way too long and it's not worth it. But ultimately, despite efforts to shut it down by the chairman, and this guy literally tried like 3-4 times, well, I highly recommend we don't go down this path because of legal liabilities. And at the very end, this very chocolate-skinned young lady who speaks very eloquently said, I'm tired of the excuse of we shouldn't do something because it might get us in legal ramifications. She's like, look, there are times when you just got to do the right thing. She says that. This dude next to her tried like 3 times, and he cast votes each time, and every time the votes all went against him. He's like, I just want to go on record and say over and over. He tried to keep this thing from moving forward. This thing, this SCB 2023-025, is continuing on. This is talking about 17,852 missing ballot images. This talks about 3,930 duplicate ballots. This talks about missing documentation for 10 mystery tabulators, and it actually talks about another like 3,500, 30,000, or 30,000 ballots somewhere that are missing their images or their envelopes, whatever the case was. This is the Georgia election. They only won, Biden only won by 11,000 votes plus, a little over 11,000, under 12,000. How about that? This is more than enough to change the outcome of the election. It's still continuing. Wouldn't that be funny if this came out right before the election happens? Because then they're going to be scrutinized. They're not going to be able to get away with shenanigans on Election Day. A lot of these things have to come to fruition right before the election, or else the deep state will figure out a way around it. So understand that too. Timing, timing, timing. This is the most important thing with the information war. Timing. Get stuff out there. Get people talking about it. It's part of the zeitgeist. Kick it up a notch. Kick it up a notch. All right, now we've got some special things that we can do, and we know we can take advantage of the fact that we've got a support group behind us. A lot's going to be timing. Republicans are contesting the legality of allowing mail-in ballots to be counted after Election Day in several states, arguing that such practices undermine election integrity. And it's kind of true. Like, it's Election Day. No, it's election year. No, it's Election Day. There's about 20 states that do this. And Washington, D.C., of course. FBI surveillance has been exposed. Got a lawsuit going on. I don't know which people put this lawsuit out. Their lawsuit just exposed that the FBI implemented extensive nationwide social media monitoring ahead of the 2022 midterm election. The FBI's National Election Command Post received lists of multiple Twitter accounts posting misinformation. This will happen again I believe they're somewhat allowed to do this, but I think there's a reason for that, because I think the good guys can also use this. So, again, this is being played weird. And there's a lot of people that just are very black and white. I think if it makes it, it's probably supposed to. We'll see. We'll see. This is powerful. Now, the quote that the person put in here, I think they didn't listen carefully enough or whatever, because they seem like they think that Montel's actually being a dick. I think actually Montel is speaking on our side of the fence, or as a centrist, or as someone that's like, tried to be cool with everybody most of his life and realized right now, no, it's about this country, right? It's about this group of people that are willing to burn it down rather than lose. He's not talking about us conservatives, but this individual says, watch. Montel Williams says if you don't vote for his former side chick, then you have a mental illness and you'll eat out of a garbage can. Well, what he's criticizing is people that think that it's either my way or I will burn down the entire world. And people that will burn down the entire world will likely be eating out of a garbage can if they survive at all. Montel calls it out. I think it's actually pretty cool. And he talks about his service and why he's here to defend the Constitution from foreigners and domestic. Listen.
Time to have more conversations, even like the ones we're having right here. Though I disagree with what you've said, we've disagreed. We've also kind of just slightly realized that we could turn that beach ball just a little bit and see a different panel, see a different point of view.
Commonality.
She is really focused on trying to make America understand that what unites us is far greater than what divides us. As a mass, and we ought to pay attention to those people on the fringes who are taking away the wrong message. Those people who have some form of mental illness who are taking away the wrong message, saying that if my side doesn't win, then burn the whole thing down. We can't do this. We've got to remember, folks like me, and we've probably got 40 million veterans alive. The majority of them put their hand up in the air and said, I do solemnly swear and affirm that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic. Period. That's what we believe in. That's why I put a uniform on. To protect this for your generation, Let's start focusing on how we protect this and stop firing up those idiots who really think that they can. Because at the end of the day, what do you want? You want to eat out of a garbage can? Because that's what's going to happen. If we go to a civil war, remember, more deaths in the American Civil War than any other conflict since.
Brother against brother.
What's up with that Tony Stark mustache goatee thing going on? I don't know. Good for you, buddy. Good for you. Maybe I'm jealous.
We go to a civil war?
Maybe it's me. I don't know. You guys know me. I like to comment on weird shit. I can't help it, folks. I got issues. All right, a lot of crap going on in the UK. I got a UK friend that, I don't know, I think I pissed him off with a gun comment, and he sent me back a picture of a home with a bullet hole in it. He's like, where do you think this happened? It wasn't in England. I'm like, yeah, of course, because you guys don't have guns. That's stupid. You should have guns, and you wouldn't be having half the problems you have right now. I don't think we're ever going to see eye to eye. Here's the important thing. You do England, you do you. I'm going to do America, I'm going to do me. You know what I mean? You guys go ahead and do your whole crazy thing. But meanwhile, your nation's under serious duress right now. Also, we'll see how you guys handle it. Good luck. All right? You got rocks and stuff. All said, here's just a start, because BBC is pretty much an English, major propaganda network that they got out there. Ex-BBC presenter Hugh Edwards pleads guilty to having indecent images of children. Awesome. Also, former BBC zoologist, I'm not sure what the frick that means, Adam Brighton, whatever, who filmed himself raping and torturing dogs, is condemned for inconceivable depravity by judge as he is jailed for 10 years. He's like the guy that runs around, I guess, and does animal stories. Well, he's apparently into doggy sex from the BBC. Just gotta love him. Here is a whole bunch of protests going on. Refugees welcome. Stop the far right. So in England, everything's being blamed right now on the far right. Everything, literally. They're putting out, we're going to have this far right protest. All these people are coming. We need counter protesters to show up. And then all the counter protesters show up, and there's nobody there that's conservative. Now, here's the thing I think. They're trying to cause civil wars everywhere. And so by calling and saying, there's going to be this conservative protest, they were thinking that all the conservative people in the area are going to be like, oh, really, mate? Oh, shit, we got to get out there, right? But the thing is, it's not happening. Maybe because not paying attention. They're not putting the messages in the right places, whatever the case is. But all the counter protesters are showing up and looking like they're there to protest, causing a lot of problems, causing huge problems. So we'll see. I don't know. Maybe the gentleman way out. Maybe it's just by not getting angry, everybody will just calm down, right? Who knows? We'll figure it out. During the left-wing rally in, oh boy, Walthamstow, that was billed by the media as peaceful. A Labour Party councillor is talking about right-wingers asserted we need to cut all their throats and get rid of them. So making some interesting comments against conservative people. It's okay when they do it. But what's not okay is for anybody that is against this overwhelming amount of immigration that's happening in this country, their country, Europe in general, all over the place. In fact, there's a number of European nations, Hungary and the ones that are pissing everyone off, that don't want to, Italy, that don't want to take in all the immigrants because it's destroying everything. Why do they need to have all these immigrants? First off, can't we throw some money down to the area where these people live and maybe help? Maybe create some areas where maybe the militias don't run them, whatever? Like, there's got to be a lot of things that can be done that we're not doing because they'd rather, cause problems. So we're living through that until enough of us finally realize, hey, this isn't okay. Let's get pissy about it. Well, apparently you can't get pissy in England and say anything on Twitter about it. I don't know. My buddy told me too. He's like, we got free speech basically like you guys do in the States. I don't think so, dude. I don't think you guys do at all. You would be able to do this if you had free speech. So you don't have free speech. You think you do. Obviously you don't. I don't know. I can't wait to hear how somehow the fact that if you tweet something that's anti-immigration, they can come arrest you.
The offence of incitement to racial hatred involves publishing or distributing material which is insulting or abusive, which is intended to or likely to start racial hatred. So if you retweet that, then you're republishing that, and then potentially you're committing that offence. And we do have dedicated police officers who are scouring social media. Their job is to look for this material. And then follow up with identification arrests and so forth. So it's a really, really serious. People might think they're not doing anything harmful. They are, and the consequences will be visited upon them.
Now, again, he says he's very, very serious. I'm very serious. So he's angry right now, right? That's anger right there. Just saying, am I the only one? American friends, tell me I'm wrong. I'm ready for it. He looks like he's more like ready for a sandwich right now than anything. I don't even know what's going on. I don't understand anything at all anymore. Just in UK, authorities began to arrest citizens for social media posts. There we go. Let's try this.
We have some breaking news now, and a woman has been arrested by Cheshire Police in relation to an inaccurate information on social media about the attacker in the Southport murders. It says a 55-year-old woman from near Chester was arrested earlier today, Thursday the 8th, of course, on suspicion of publishing written material to stir up racial hatred and false communications. She is currently being held in police custody. Chief Superintendent Alison Ross has also made a statement saying that this is in relation to a post which has been fueled by malicious and the protest rather has been fueled by malicious and inaccurate communications online. It is a stark reminder of the dangers of posting information on social media platforms without checking the accuracy. It's also a warning that we are all accountable for our actions.
Now, the best part is it's inaccurate if they say it's inaccurate, right? Because you could check all the sources you want. One of my favorite things that happened on YouTube to me multiple times is they would strike you on a video that you did, and you're like, whatever, I don't even think I did anything wrong. And then while you're stricken, they'll strike another video and from your past, or they'll make some new rule, and then they'll go scan your old videos that they already approved. They'll scan your old videos, and they'll bust you for something you did 6 months ago. Totally awesome. Same kind of thing. You guys are screwed. By the way, any of you Brits out there, if you ever responded to anything, I'd be very concerned, because if it ever happened, that's still a crime, probably. Probably. All said. I don't know what they're going to do. It's not 100% my problem anymore. I don't know. We're trying our best to help, but we got to take care of this country first, I guess. MyPillow.com/OTF. One thing, it's an American company, helping out big time. American products too. So good stuff there. Free shipping on orders over $75. You should go to MyPillow.com/OTF. They got the original pillows, by the way, 1998. The original pillow. That pillow's awesome. I love it. And then the king size, $5 extra. Remember, 75 and over, free shipping. That's saving you some money, too. Keep that in mind. They've got these mini mattress toppers going on. They're giving a sweet little deal on those, too. Start off at $99.99. Again, that fits in a box. That gets shipped. Under 70 or over 75, that's free shipping right there, baby. So now you're just getting a topper, that plus tax probably, right? Towels, they got all these different $25 deals and they're insane towels all over the place. They got beach towels, they got your 6-pack towels, they've got your dish towels, incredible. The premiums are more, but they're very, very nice. There's probably a deal on those to some degree. Also got the pillow sheets. Those are under $25 right now. They decided to get crazy, drop 2 cents and go to $24.98. What? I know. And you're getting free shipping over $75. Incredible. They've got 50% off or buy one, get one. It's an easier way to look at it for the MyPillow 2.0. Not quite the same thing. Many people would say it is. Buy one, get one means you got to get 2 pillows, period. End of story. 50% off means I get 1 pillow. I got 50% off. I don't have to buy 2. This is about moving inventory. That's why it's on sale. You want to get 2 pillows for 1 price. So you can look at it however you want, but ultimately they come in pairs. Getting shipped over $25 though. You're getting that, right? Over 75. So very good. We got mattresses. Literally, they ship you the mattress in a box. It's weird. Somehow, there's like a magic section, I think, within Mike Lindell's factory where they somehow figure out how to fold shit into a box. I literally think that's a talent that doesn't really get appreciated as much as it should. We got dog stuff towels, like I said, dog blankets, and all sorts of other blankets, by the way, all $25. They've got incredible stuff. Go to mypillow.com/OTF. mypillow.com/OTF. Get the best night of sleep you've ever had. Seriously, you're going to be stoked that you did. Here's some people that are either trying to bring Jesus back or the end of the world or both, not sure. I feel like it's still kind of a questionable thing. Like some of us are like, hey, whoa, I thought maybe we had a few more good years. They're like, nope, bringing Jesus now. They're like, you sure? And they're like, yeah, it's time to do it. All right. Do we say goodbye to friends and stuff? Probably should. They're maybe not going to be here anymore. Whatever the case is, we've got a group of religious Israelis that have been pictured practicing the ritual of the red heifer, which is meant to herald the building of a new Jewish temple on the site of the Al-Aqsa Mosque. I don't know how to say that. According to the Jewish tradition, the ashes of a perfectly red heifer cow are needed for the ritual purification that would allow a third temple to be built in Jerusalem. That temple, say radical Jewish people, must be constructed on the raised plateau in Jerusalem's old city known as the Temple Mount, where the Al-Aqsa Mosque and the Dome of the Rock shrine all stand today. Now, again, this part of the world's like 3 major religions kind of coincide in one holy area. If you guys ever fancy an exciting book that's very hard to read, and I've read it twice and it's fascinating, it's taught me a lot, is The Keys of Enoch. And one of the things that's funny about The Keys of Enoch is it talks about how different religions have different keys. Not any one religion has all the keys. So it's one of the more eye-opening things that you'll come to is that nobody's got all the answers. They've intentionally divided us. I really do think it goes back to the fall of Atlantis. It's the best I got, historically anyways. And outside of that, here we are. All said, I've read a lot of the New Testament too. I'm a good chunk of the way through it. I'm jamming through it. I'm having fun. I read a little bit every day, and I'm enjoying it. But they did. You had to put the ashes on the thing. That's how they purify and do the blessing and all this stuff. So they're trying to bless this Temple of the Mount, which is a very sacred place. And supposedly once that happens, they will bring the Messiah. So some believe that this will herald the arrival of the Messiah and even possibly the end of the world. Temple worshippers are now practicing the mitzvah, religious duty, I guess, of a red cow in front of the Temple Mount, which is supposed to help bring this about. So what happens or doesn't happen, I think it's all up to God. I think this is one of those rituals. It's kind of like positive witchcraft, frankly, for those that don't agree, and sorry. But witchcraft is basically a ritual, and rituals are witchcraft. So if you're doing something good with it, cool, it's called positive magic. If you're doing something negative with it, it's called negative magic, dark magic, whatever. But rituals are rituals, man. Call it what you want. It is what it is. We've got House Judiciary putting this out. The Global Alliance for Responsible Media is discontinuing. Big win for the First Amendment, big win for oversight. So we're continuing to shut down these people that have made it almost impossible for advertising for a lot of us truth tellers. Pretty cool. FBI raids the home, New York home, I guess, of ex-weapon inspector Scott Ritter. Yeah, this guy's pretty good. I catch some of his videos every once in a while. I don't know, I like him. I remember him from way back in the day, the weapons inspector back during the Gulf War, if I remember correctly. He kind of became infamous. So he is, he's because he was involved in something with RFK Jr., apparently. I don't know, or at least after that, he suddenly got busted. I don't know what's going on, but it's very strange. Lawyers for the 3 alleged 9/11 terrorists are really upset that Lloyd Austin got rid of this plea deal. I don't understand this at all. I like the idea of keeping these guys alive longer. I think a lot of people want people dead because they think that's kind of how you let God sort it out. But it says thou shalt not kill. I don't know if you guys paid attention to that. And unless these guys literally were attacking you that day, and you can't say America is you, that's not true. If they killed one of your family members, totally, I get where you're at. I still don't totally agree, but I would get where you're at, totally. If not, though, it's kind of like, well, now you just want to kill somebody that sort of wronged you in a weird way. You know, they blew up the mini mart that you never go to, but they shouldn't have blown it up. So I want you to die. That's murder, in my opinion. It's kind of hard to get around it, but you know, when society's okay with it and we all go out there and throw rocks at somebody, we've murdered them, right? And so I like the idea of letting God take care of it. He can give him cancer. He can do whatever the hell he wants. Why do I got to choose? Why do I got to kill him? I don't want to. So we'll let God worry about that, in my opinion. But what is interesting is if they didn't actually do this, if this was an inside job, wouldn't you want the masterminds behind it to be able to talk about it? Because they probably weren't necessarily the masterminds. They're just the crooks people, the shooters, the fall guys. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. So many of us think of 9/11 and we go back to what we believed at the time. Even knowing we're awake now, we sort of go back to what we believed at the time. Well, they attacked us. The Saudis were behind it. This is the deep state. This was an inside job. We dropped our guard. We knew it was coming. There were so many people involved in this. This is unreal. It's unreal. So the fact that this douchehole wants to go back to killing them, that raises flags in my mind. I don't know. You guys might disagree. I apologize if you do. Taylor Swift concert in Vienna was canceled after 2 people were arrested for allegedly planning a terror attack, trying to blow up a bunch of people. They had a car, truck, whatever the hell, full of bombs. What's also interesting is supposedly one of them had just recently been hired by the venue to do security work. So he was obviously going to use his credentials to get the truck in. Bada bing, bada boom. No pun intended. That's what they plan to do. So they canceled the whole concert. I don't know. I'm glad nobody got hurt. Let's put it that way. I don't give a crap about Taylor Swift's concert, and I feel bad for all the people that aren't going, but nah. 7.1 shook southern Japan. Folks, this is an actual earthquake. This is worth talking about. Whenever these happen anywhere in the world, that's awesome. Above a 7's huge. This is big. Now, I'm going to say this, though. There's one thing that's kind of cool about living in California and Japan. They're scary to have earthquakes, certainly scary as hell when they're this big, but we actually do build our buildings here to survive stuff like this. Believe it or not, they can survive up to reasonably large earthquakes. Depends how close you are to the center, the epicenter, and then what you're built on. If you're on rock or liquefaction, there's a lot of factors that kick in. But we generally build our homes to a spec that will survive it, especially since the 70s. But here's an example of kind of what it looks like.
いや今動けんこれやばい動かん方がいい絶対動かん方がいい絶対やばい絶対やばい
And it goes on for a long time, and it's extraordinarily loud. Just hearing things move, just the earth actually makes noise too. Like it's a trip. It's just a trippy experience. But you notice how when they're not calm, that's a little loud for. But they're trying to talk over the noise. But it's like, yeah, we've done this. We kind of know. You know, it's sketchy. It's kind of scary when it's happening because you're like, all right, we'll be okay, right? We'll be okay. I hope we're okay. We should be okay. We hopefully be okay. Like, it's all you got, man. Because you're in a good part of your house. You're like, I know if my house caves in, I'll live. Like, I just hope my house doesn't do that, right? That would suck. So that's an earthquake. So yes, if we have a 7.0 or a 6.5, then you reach out to your friends. You're like, dude, you guys okay? Seriously, you should ask. That's nice then. Five's nothing. And I know it seems like it's not that big a deal, but it's amplitudes of magnitude. It's like 1,000,000 times stronger. It's more than that probably even. It's ridiculous. It's stupid. The Richter scale is really weird, by the way. If you ever want to just mess with your poor little mind, try to look up the difference between a 5.0 and a 5.1. Just find a video that talks about that, and you'll be like, no shit, really? Yeah, it's a trip. They get way bigger, that number, as it goes up. It's so crazy. All said. Here we are today. This is a bitch and couple songs spliced together, really positive American stuff. We're going to close out with this because that's fun to do sometimes. But I love you guys. We got a lot going on. You guys have been powerful. You guys have been strong. You guys are really moving forward, and I love it. I wish, and you probably do too, but I don't know. I wish it too. I wish more people understood what you and I go through to try to help. And I think that's the thing. If we go to bed every night knowing that we did something to make a difference, then we're going to sleep okay. And we'll probably be okay. God's protecting all of us. And like many say, I put on the armor of God. I suggest you put it on and keep it on. That would be my recommendation, folks. You don't need to put on the armor every day. Guess what? You just need to put it on once and realize you're wearing it every day. And every day wake up knowing that you have the armor of God on. That you are protected at all times. And that you are here to help through this transition. Unquestionably. Where we go one, we go all. That's on the Fringe with Dan Radio Style.
It's the end of the world as we know it. It's the end of the world as we know it. It's the end of the world as we know it. And I feel fine.
Would be nice